Yeah. I guess, something you touched upon is the bureaucracy of water, right? You have the federal government, we have a state agency, we have local irrigation districts and stuff like that. Can for our listeners who don't understand the bureaucracy of water, can you kind of give us an overview of kind of the state's, bureaucracy and the local governance bureaucracy kind of on how water is divvied up in the state?
Yeah, look, there's I think about close to 20, or if not a little over 20 different agencies that touch on water issues. We have the Department of Water Resources, we have the Water Resources Control Board, we have the Department of Fish and Wildlife, we have the local water boards, we have the Water Commission. There's just there's so many agencies that touch on different aspects, from allocation of water to water rights, which the Water Resources Control Board is responsible for, to um, infrastructure for local communities, infrastructure for a statewide water supply,
Right.
like dams and whatnot. So there's a lot of bureaucracy that, look, just last year we had there was an attack on a water treatment plant in the Bay Area, and it was an attack on it was a cyber attack, and so this is what less water supply around the world is going to create these types of challenges. And if we're already beginning to see that those kinds of attacks in the state, and we're not protected, um, we're way behind, and we need to have a system in California that works and that protects the limited water supply, and that protects Californians in every aspect that you can possibly think of, because climate change is going to create just exactly those types of scenarios. And if not, it's going to make it worse.
Right. That's interesting. You're kind of talking about your canal bill, and then you listed all those 20 agencies, and I just started getting anxiety thinking about how to work with all those agencies to try to achieve something. Kind of, there's got to be a way to simplify this. Kind of what are your thoughts to kind of streamlining this kind of bureaucracy to make it easier to achieve goals that work for all Californians?
Well, look, I'm going to be honest and say that I wish that I had the perfect solution or the answer to that. And the reality is that that I don't, because I don't know exactly every detail of the job that someone that works in DWR, or someone that works at the Water Resource Control Board, or the EPA. And so that's why I think that the whole goal of SB 1219 is to bring this interagency work group together, to be able to say, okay, this is what these are the different departments. This is where we can kind of maybe we need some reorganization in
Right.
this area. Or I mean, that's the whole point of it, is that how can they, the experts that do the day-to-day work, that see all the issues and challenges, but also they have to see also the potential solutions to how do you better work together and make sure
Right.
that it's simple.
Yeah, a couple of months ago, we had Dr. Marty Ralph come on, a climatologist, kind of talk about atmospheric rivers, and he was kind of going over kind of, working with the federal government. And a lot of things dealing with water are a bit antiquated, dealing from the 1960s and things like that. Kind of, I guess, in dealing with the state water system, especially the State Water Control Board, kind of, how are you finding how it's antiquated and how maybe it might be, able to kind of bring it up to modern times to help us deal with today's challenges?
Well, every day I learn something new, I will admit. And I'll say that just the fact that we have cyber attacks to try to poison
Right.
water. I mean, who would ever thought in the 1960s, and some laws even earlier, that something of the sort would even happen, where with just, a little moving of your computer, you can poison an entire community's water. Um, we didn't have that in mind, and that's why there's a major need to modernize this. I've also been working in trying to learn a little bit more about the role that NASA is playing in terms of the research that they're doing, and studying the future of deltas, and water management. And there's just so much research that people are working on that we need to just find more information. There's a lot of technology out there that NASA is also working on and trying to measure water availability. So these are all the types of things that we need to kind of bring in and figure out what additional needs we may have. Maybe the technology and the tools that are being worked on at the moment are not enough, that they need to be improved, and how do we improve those? But I think we have a system in place that we don't even know how much water is being perhaps stolen, or where exactly water is going. That's all information that we need to be able to collect and improve on. But the tools and the resources there's tools and resources out there already that we could bring in, but I also think we need to look at the future of what additional tools and resources we need to be looking into as well.
Make sure you click the button below and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with all our news and updates.
Are called dreamers.